Hi, this is Sharon. Here's a little sampler from one of the projects in my Burning Academy video training series. I hope it inspires you to pull out your burning tools. Enjoy!
All right, it's time to add color. I'm going to go ahead and begin adding the color. This is a ruby-throated hummingbird, so the section under here is going to have some color. I'm going to start with a little bit of pink, add in some purple, and then darken that up with a little Tuscan red. I want to be light because I want all of that detail that I burned in to still show. Next, I'm going to work on the cap and the back of the body. That's going to be green. I'm going to add a little bit of light green first. This will show the highlights here and onto the wings and the body. The primary feathers and the tail feathers appear very, very dark, so I'm adding some dark green down here, and I'll be mixing a few colors. I don't like to add just like a black or something because it's too flat. I want to add layers of colors. It'll give a much richer look and a far more natural look. When you put this color in, what's going to be happening is the color is only on top of the wood that's not burned because there's so much texture in here. And as that blends, as I put this over the top, it blends the other two previous colors that I put on there, which were more of a lime green and the blue, and the bright blue. It's kind of blending those in right over the top. And I'm just using regular Prismacolor pencils. These are not watercolor pencils or oil pencils or anything like that. There's nothing fancy. It's just plain old regular wax-based pencils. Now I'm using a blender pencil, and that's actually what it's called. It's called a blender pencil. Okay, all the different brands of professional grade pencils have these, and I'm just gently blending in these colors so that I can eliminate any pencil marks. I'm only going to do this down toward the bottom here for this dark area. Those are the only areas that I'm really concerned with. I try not to use this too much because this is just kind of a clear wax. It will dull the color a bit, and it also gets into all these little crevices that I've burned, so I don't want to eliminate all my texture, so I try not to use this unless it's absolutely necessary. Okay, here I go into the throat. We're going to make a nice bright white area here. And I'm going to add a little bit of yellow very, very lightly as it blends into the green. And then I'm also going to add a bit of yellow here in the green to give that a bit of sparkle. Okay, I think I've got the bird pretty much done. That was relatively simple. We had all of the values pretty much already in there, all of the texture, so it was just a matter of very lightly going over with a pencil, and the pencil skipped over the texture, and so there was really all I was doing was adding the color. Now I'm going to move over to the flowers. Now when I did the burning on the flowers, I scored some of that. You might be able to see some of that engraving in there. That's not color, that's actually, it was a cooler tip, but I still was doing some burning, and I was dragging it across, which kind of scored the wood and gave it a rippled effect. So now I'm going to go over. I'm using the same colors I used over here because I want the whole image to have a nice cohesive look. I don't want to use too many colors because then it looks rather scattered. You can see as I lightly draw in here, my pencil is skipping. Here, let me zoom in. You'll see how that goes in there. And again, just like the bird, I'm using the same colors. Now, I will mix them differently. If you'll notice with the bird, I started out with a light green. I'm going in right now with medium green. So it's going to look different. I want it to look different, but I want it to have the same colors so that it blends well together, so that the whole composition works well. Instead of having a bunch of weird random colors all over the place, it'll have a nice consistent look and feel to it. All right, now I'm applying a little bit of white to the petals, to the pink petals. And I'm going to use a little more pressure here because I want to kind of blend this into the existing pink. Now I'm going to add a little bit darker. I'm adding the purple, the darker purple that I used on the Hummingbird. I'm going to add that in here. All right, I went through and put the darker color in. Now I'm going to go over it one more time with the pink. And my thought behind this is that I'm going to tie together those three colors with a very light layer of pink glaze right over the top. So I want to maintain that texture. I really like the texture I've got. How you layer the color will make a difference. Let's say you're using the same three colors. It does make a difference which one goes first, second, and third. You know, you would think that if you're mixing all three of them, it won't matter, but it actually does. It's subtle, but it really does make a difference which one goes first. Even though we're going to use the same colors on the leaves as we're going to use pretty much on the bird, they are going to appear to be different, but because we're using the same colors, they're going to match very well, as in it's going to look like they belong together. They'll look like different colors, but they will look like they belong together because the pigments are the same. It's just the way we're applying them is different. And I'm applying kind of a medium pressure. That medium pressure is allowing it to go in instead of just sitting on the top. It's going in and actually smearing all the colors together to give it a different look. It makes it blend. You saw how I used the blender pencil on the bird. I have not used a blender pencil at all because sometimes when I go over a color, if I put a little more pressure, it acts like a blender and it just kind of blends it all together. A nice natural look at the bottom. Very, very subtle, very soft. Because really what I want in this image is I want the eye to be drawn to the flower. I want the viewer's eye to come up here and be drawn in here, or to be drawn here and around here. So I want to have a nice visual path for the whole image. And I'm going to do that, of course, with composition, because I put the bird in here and we have a nice composition and movement, and we have grain that's supporting that movement. And I'm also doing it with values. You can see there's dark here, it comes across here, it pulls you in here and then down to here, and then back around because this is also dark. And I'm also doing it with colors. I have lighter colors, brighter colors, again, light and bright, and moving back down. So as you do your coloring, keep that in mind, that you want the viewer's eye to keep moving. There's going to be areas that are going to be brighter and more vibrant, and areas that are not going to be as bright and vibrant. And that's really important, because if the whole thing is bright, and you might say, oh, well, it's just bright. But if it's too bright, what's going to happen is the eye doesn't know where to rest. And when the eye doesn't know where to rest, it becomes confused and it will leave.